sandals and shorts, and surf and scuba and sand and sailing and soccer. San Diego, California.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 236. 236 weeks in a row. 2 times 3 equals 6. 236. My name is Tony Sanchez, along with Alejandro El Chiva Villaseñor, wearing a reversal Adidas. Is it comfy? Yeah. I went to Adidas outlet in Viejas. Not a lot of selection. Actually, I did get a couple things, but soccer in San Diego.
Getting the emails.
Is the name of the game. Using company emails for 15% discounts is A-OK in this company. Yeah, right? Cool. We're going to go ahead and recap San Diego Wave's latest loss. An unfortunate tie that led to penalties. Abe Cepeda was there. We're going to go ahead and talk to him. He was part of the media, the stronghold of San Diego, being sent to the community college of Fullerton. He's going to defend Fullerton for goodness knows why.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that match. Why isn't Melanie Barcena starting? What's going on? And has the global search for a coach for San Diego Wave come to an end? Names potentially coming out. We're also going to go ahead and touch a little bit on the tryouts that are happening with SDFC. But SDFC also has their first ever signing in Duran Ferree. We're going to talk to Papa Ferree, Dad Ferree, and get his perspective on this incredible adventure and opportunity for his child and family, and get into what it takes to go ahead and be in that position. Like it's something people don't talk about a lot. Actually, people don't consider that. Like there's sacrifices the parents have to make for these athletes sometimes to go and do what they do. We're gonna go ahead and have him on in El Zarape de San Diego and Goals, Gaps, and Greats. We do have the behind the scenes of the Manchester United Real Betis match, and that will be coming up here in a bit. So
that was a fun day.
Season's greetings to everybody in the chat. Welcome in Esteban Toscano. Season's greetings. It's been a great, interesting couple of days moving forward. We're looking forward to doing some Leagues Cup coverage with America at Snapdragon. See that kind of it was. Yeah, no, I moved it up a little bit. But all right, we want to go ahead and just say that moving forward, we're moving towards essentially our planning of the World Cup trip and just a couple of those dates and whatever's going to happen with that. It's going to happen. So we're going to start honing in everybody in this little adventure, and hopefully we can get that support as we've always been supported across the multiverse of soccer in San Diego and across the universe. One of the Beatles' most underrated songs. All right.
Nice hat. I like your hat.
Yeah, it's a cool hat. It was a gift.
Oh,
It was a gift
from
North Park Connect. Lopez 619. He's usually in the comments.
Nice. Yeah, it's a really nice.
I don't frequent designs on the hats. Like, do not adjust your television screens. That is the version of the SD Padres. I went to my first Padres game. I think second Padres game. It is hell not being able to eat at Padres games. Like my sense of smell is heightened. Dude. So like I smell.
But you're eating a little bit now.
No, it's fine. But like I smell just the pizza from 5 rows below. I'm like, that smells phenomenal. Some tri-tip nachos came my way, and I just whiffed them.
What's the first thing when you're able to like have full meals again and all that? What's when you go to a Padres game? What's the first thing you're gonna eat?
I mean, I'm not a big alcohol guy, but like I'm looking forward to that Barrio Dog drink.
The michelada and all that.
Yeah, I mean, but even then, like, no, that's not my go-to. So I mean,
what's your go-to?
Look, man, there's something about garlic fries that just hit. And that's like literally where I can't eat. Like I no, like that's the last thing I can come back to. But I mean, I don't know. Like,
dude, nothing like a good hot dog, a nice drink.
The Hodads, maybe.
Do you put mayo on hot dogs?
You can. That's
Okay.
allowed. That's
So
that's an allowed
Petco
move.
Park doesn't have mayo, like when you buy a hot dog.
Okay.
So what you do is
Mhm.
figure it out. Get your hot dog, or you go to Hodad's first. They have mayo packets.
And speaking of Petco Park, it's there you go. I like that. Gordito hacks for at Petco Park. I did go to that game, and something I did notice is that I put a little tweet during the Man U game that showed the sun hitting that what is it, eastern side of Snapdragon. No shade. 90% of games are going to be in the shade, and that's what's being advertised by SDFC. And Wave doesn't really comment on that because they know the reality of things. They know what they have in Snapdragon. But it was curious because it gave me perspective. Because if you are on the southeast
Mhm.
side of Petco Park at those matches at those games in the late afternoon, for the most part, those people are in the same position looking at the sun and being uncomfortable for about the same amount of time as people would be at Snapdragon. So am I siding with SDFC in saying, yeah, come on, like if you're willing to go watch a Padres game, yes, Sarte, and
Especially on a
miss
Sunday
30,
game. On a
30
Sunday
minutes,
game.
miss 30 minutes of a match, like you should be and you do it for the Padres, you can't be complaining about it over there. Different circumstances, very different Bay, Mission Valley, but semantics.
Rub some sunscreen and you're good.
Yeah, no, SPF a lot. With that, we're going to go ahead and transition into our first sort of section here where we're going to go ahead and bring on El Experto of San Diego Wave.
Fenómeno.
El es fenomenal.
The prodigy.
I'm sure. Who's prodigy? Himself. He is his own prodigy for some San Diego Wave coverage. Yeah, so people better not complain about the sun at Snapdragon. Abe,
What's up, Abe?
I
How are you?
think my go-to is Gaglione Bros. First of all, Philly cheesesteaks, a little
Okay,
cheese whiz,
well,
really
same
good.
That's pretty good.
same spot. They have the garlic fries, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I mean,
you get
that's
the garlic fries with the meat on top. Oh
Mm.
my gosh, bad for your
Mm.
whole body, but it tastes amazing.
I'm very basic at baseball games. Like legitimately, like I don't eat all the amazing food at Petco because like lucha libre I can get outside. Like the old time barbecue, just go to the actual place if you want it. Hodad's maybe. Like I'll give you Hodad's, right? Like that's something that I don't want to have to drive into downtown, into Pacific, into Sunset Cliffs. Like I don't want to have to do that for Hodad's. I'm at a game. I'm gonna go watch it at the beginning of the game. You get your Hodad's. You munch on it for the first through. That keeps you to the fourth inning. I like sunflower seeds, so sunflower seeds come out, and that's the constant throughout the match.
And
As
you can
you're
have
finishing a
Hodad's at
little,
Snapdragon too.
you can.
You can.
Mhm. Snapdragon, the home of San Diego Wave. San Diego Wave not playing at Snapdragon, instead moving to visit Angel City
Not at BMO.
over at a community college like CSU. Yes, Abe.
Titan
San Diego State
Stadium
is
it is
also
a Cal State University, same as San Diego State University. It's not like SDSU's parking garage. It's a lot bigger. It is 11,000 people. It was packed. It was
Whoa.
pretty cool.
whoa, dude.
What,
All
wa-
right.
what was, hey, just tell me, what was the atmosphere like? I mean, Angel City games, I mean, there's supporters.
I was expecting a little bit less than the America game that we saw last week, but it was packed out. A lot of people were ready for Christian Press's big return to the pitch. I was genuinely surprised by the turnout, but there was some Wave fans too. The Wave actually had more like flags and tifos out on their supporter section, which is kind of interesting, but didn't really hear them the whole match or didn't get to see any of the bubbles or anything, but it was a big turnout. I like that stadium.
So we won't talk about the game because I mean, snooze fest. But nah, I'm just
We
kidding.
have to talk about the
We
game.
do,
So let's
of
go ahead
course.
and
We don't have to.
all right, sounds
The
good. Abe.
churros, as I was walking to the press box, you guys would like this. The churros were just, oh my gosh, it was so good.
Did you have any?
It felt like a high school football stadium as far as snack bars go. I walked by a lot of those snack bars where you have the pretzels, the churros, the hot dogs, where it gave me that vibe like, ooh, that's nice.
Did you get anything?
No, I got the press box food was Domino's actually.
Oh, okay.
wow.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, youth groups and youth pastors do the same strategy. Hey, kids, free pizza. Come on. And
Yeah.
That's yes,
Domino's
exactly
and
what
like
they do.
what is it called? Smart Pop, the little popcorn thing too.
Yeah.
Funny, I actually at halftime I went to go get like another popcorn thing, and I walked right into Tobin Heath. I almost like ran into it. It was a little awkward, but I just grabbed a water and a popcorn thing. Because you ever do that thing where you're like walking somewhere and then you need to look like you have a reason. So I kind of walked faster. So I was like, I kind of have to get a water now because I was awkwardly standing there, you know?
I love that. Speaking of awkward transitions, starting lineup for San Diego Wave versus Angel City in this Summer Cup series, in which I don't know, man. Like, what were we expecting? I think I'm seeing the Wave that I thought we were gonna see. Other than maybe some sparks from Alex Morgan potentially having a chip on her shoulder. Um, it's one of those things where I didn't really see this being the turning around point for San Diego Wave's entire season. There are some good and talented players on this lineup here, and there was as well talented and good players for Angel City as well. Abidal Kemper, Lundqvist, Jakobsson. This is it. Yeah, no, I even questioned myself. I'm like, Bato.
No, it's a solid lineup. I mean, you kind of have to adjust and put Kristen McNabb at center back, where we've seen her at the 6. We've seen her at the left back position. I think we've seen her one before at center back,
And we
right?
see her in every other press conference because that's the only player that they ever give us.
Yeah, for some reason. I mean, McCaskill, Colaprico,
Appreciate her time.
Jakobsson is back, Mackenzie Doniak in the starting lineup again, and Maria Sanchez and Alex Morgan. I mean, it's a solid lineup. Abe, you were there. You see the lineup. What's your first reaction to this?
The Swedish players are back. I expected a little bit more offensive production out of that pairing because usually when they're on the pitch, I think they're pretty great. But it was just same old Wave versus Angel City match. I was talking about it with other people at that press box where it's just these games are boring. Like you expect a rivalry game to be insane, intense, high scoring, but these Southern California games have just been straight up bad.
Dreadful. And that's just the state of the game in Southern California, I guess, because there is very much a lot of excitement happening elsewhere in the NWSL. The most excitement that this team gets is whenever Melanie Barcenas touches the grass and does a couple moves here and there, but
there's still excitement for the team overall, which is interesting. We've talked about this before, where it's just these two California teams are probably top 3 in the NWSL already as far as fans go, especially attendance wise. And even despite the on the pitch abilities that both of these teams have kind of like faltered at, they have the star power there that just still get people in the door to come watch these games.
And it's a very interesting time too, because I don't know if you guys noticed this last couple of days. Season tickets went out for next year, for San Diego Wave. So, just kind of I'm interested in seeing what that return is here immediately, because it hasn't been the best of years for Wave on the pitch, off the pitch, just in general. It's been a rough year, and nothing really supersedes just the feeling that this team can't get out of it. And look, Cascarino, the French player who also was eliminated in for the French national team and will be joining the team here soon. That's the last chance that Wave are banking on completely to bring some sort of extra oomph to the lineup and potentially jumpstart this offense. I don't know if that's the answer. And if it is, then you know what? Give her, whatever, MVP, have half the season MVP. But overall, this team should be doing much better than they actually are. And it's frustrating. And it's completely frustrating because of the talent that is clearly there, but it's just an impotence in offense that it's frustrating overall. And we ask Paul Buckle the questions and he gives us the answers that he has to give. Like, almost like, what do you want me to do? I've done everything. I'm impressed with these players, but what do you want me to do? The ball's not going in.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really expect much from Paul Buckle, right? I mean, he's interim head coach, and the answers are always going to be the same. But at the end of the day, the results. I mean, Tony, I think you touched this a lot more than other people. It's like, why get rid of Casey Stoney if everything's going to be the same, if not worse?
No point. No point. You could have given Casey Stoney Cascarino. That deal was being worked on. It wasn't a night and day thing. Like, I know for a fact that wasn't a night and day thing. Oh, Casey's gone. Finally, Casey was stopping this. No, this was a deal that had been being worked on. It got to a critical point with Casey Stoney that it was decided up top, hey, we're gonna part ways. See you later, Casey. So far, following her on social media, living it up. Watching the Olympics at home, enjoying some family time, and that's great. I'm happy that she's able to
Do you guys feel
do that. But
do you guys feel would be in a better spot, or I mean, really just the same, but a little bit better of a spot if Stoney was still here?
I think they'd be in the same exact spot. The only difference is we'd be talking a lot more about the schedule.
Yeah, much more scheduled talk. Much more. I mean, maybe Jill and company wanted to go ahead and cut the amount of fines that they were getting, and that was it, right? Like, hey, Casey, we can't keep paying for these fines.
No,
so
hell no.
bye.
No, that's not why.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not.
No,
It's not.
Jill Ellis herself in the press conference after they fired her kind of said that they supported that, and I think kind of pushed her to say those kind of things, because I'm sure Ellis probably felt the same way, especially about like some of these weird schedules and stuff. I mean, the Wave play on August 20th, and then they have an NWSL match on August 24th, which is a weird thing. Also, another weird thing, Katie Johnson played for like 5 minutes and then got subbed off. She got subbed on for 5 minutes and then subbed off for Christian Press. I rarely see that out of forwards. That was weird.
Like, she's probably not the best penalty taker, but Abe, I did want to ask you, what was it like when Christian Press did get subbed on?
It felt like how it feels when the Wave sub on Melanie Barcenas at Snapdragon Stadium, where anytime the ball gets close to her, anything that happens, fans are watching her as she's training on the sidelines. It felt probably more heightened than that Melanie Barcenas feeling, but the whole stadium was just all eyes on her the whole game, waiting for her return, because she has been a prolific performer for the U.S. and for a club when she was safe, not injured with Angel City. But after like years and like 4 surgeries, coming back and being able to do that is actually pretty impressive out of Christian Press.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, she's a legend just overall. And I mean, it's good to see her be able to come back on the field. And I mean, bury a penalty against Wave too.
Yeah, no, this is a team that, at this point, right, it's penalties. Anything can happen. And I mean, the word legend is going to be used very loosely this episode. You'll see later for Man U coverage. But yeah, I mean, Katie Johnson, San Diego Wave legend, being part of history here, giving way to Kristen Press. But I mean,
what a terrible penalty from Amiro.
There's been terrible penalties in this. If you're watching here live on YouTube, there's been terrible penalties. There's been terrible dives. But even then, it's a level playing field. This is as level as you can possibly ask for. It's penalties. Like, anybody can miss, anybody can make it. The goalkeeper can have a good outing. I'm not a fan of that style of goalkeeping stop attempts where you dive forward as opposed to the side. Like, if it just, that doesn't work. But yeah, so
yeah, I think Morgan Messner, other than the penalties, she had a pretty great game though.
Oh, 100%. And
Morgan Messner was good.
She's had the best top 2 non-Kalen Sheridan performances back to back, I think. Sure. I mean, Hillary Beale did also win, but also post to the foot. I
want to say, I mean, Barcenas, when she came on in this game, she was electrifying. She had just taking players on and just getting shots on target close to the end too. It almost felt like she almost could have won it for San Diego Wave. When is it enough for her to get a starting spot? If you're Paul Buckle, would you give her a starting spot already?
I asked him a little bit about Melanie Barcenas after the game, and he's kind of talked about how they've been slowly building up minutes looking at it now with like a bird's eye perspective, it seems like they were just slowly building her from 75th minute. They started 80th minute, then 75th minute, and now 60th minute for this match, where you're just slowly building, giving her those more minutes. Maybe next time you see her, she gets 45 minutes. But I think if you're going to use the Summer Cup like that to slowly introduce young players, then you can't really blame them for that. She's obviously the offensive highlight of this team, especially playing as the 10. But if you're going to slowly build her like that, there's no reason to mess with that development. You got to slow build it instead of just throwing it all in just because you can't score.
Well, hopefully Cascarino is the answer for San Diego Wave, as they hope she is. So as of now, what I'm hearing just on the back end channels is that the global search for a permanent manager is close to coming to an end. There are several names being thrown out there. There are several people who have been definitely pinned. Moving forward, seems to be one clear person who stands out from there. They were involved with the Olympics and no longer involved with their national team. So there are some connections with current players on the roster with that. So, that's going to be decided here in the next couple of weeks. It seems like Paul Buckle's time is just coming to an end, and that's what it was always going to be. It was never going to be permanent. It was never going to be a long-term thing. I don't think he was even fighting to have it be a positive job. And that's not his job. His job was literally to be the patch from a sinking boat. And I think so far, you know what? There has to be a manager on the game sheet. So it was Paul Buckle this time. There have been some positives, some new tactics, some different looks for the San Diego Wave, but it's just a broken product at this point. And will Delfin Cascarino be that catalyst of change? We'll see. We will definitely see. But the Waves players in the Olympics are actually doing pretty good. I don't know if you guys are keeping up with that. Made it far. I know you gave me the look. I know, but like
Germa's been the only one still in it, right? Like Jaden Shaw hasn't played.
Jaden Shaw hasn't played, but she's still part of the emotional team in the Olympic Village. She also gets a gold medal. So, maybe the performances that we're seeing up top from Trinity Rodman and company, Sophia Smith, are just because they see the talent that Jaden Shaw brings. They're like, oh no, we have to do our best. Can't let her take our spot. She's that good. It's been a good outing for San Diego Wave, I think, in the Olympics. A good showing.
For San Diego Wave, I mean, they pretty much have like about 2 weeks off. They're going to be traveling to Panama for the women's CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's a new tournament that's starting up. It is the group stage. So again, if you still had Casey Stoney, here comes another traveling question. Now you get to go to Panama and compete. Abe, I believe you asked Paul Bucco about it, and you said he believes they can make a run for it, right?
Yeah, he wasn't talking about the cup in general. I think he was just talking about the team and believing to have like a run at the end of the season as far as NWSL goes. I think that felt more like the context of what he was talking about than the actual Champions Cup, which I don't know if I don't believe in what he says, which I shouldn't use double negatives like that, but the team has been better on the stat sheet. Like, is it time to just believe in the delusion of, maybe they're going to actually work out. Maybe they are actually going to score goals.
Why not?
Maybe they're creating chances.
Why not? You're at this point where you've exhausted everything else, right? Like, maybe we're the crazy ones, right? Maybe we're the ones that are just not seeing this right. Maybe we're the ones that are not understanding. And this can be very true, right? Like, we're very much Chicken Littling this. The sky is falling. But I believe they are not couple of points away from a playoff spot in the NWSL, in the main league that they're supposed to be in. Something that you always bring up, Abe. Last year, Gotham was 8th place when they won the championship. It's not unheard of in the NWSL to have a good playoff run coming from 8th, 7th, 6th. Like it's been done before. The championship's been obtained that way against a very strong Seattle team. But I think, I don't know. It's one of those things where you see the trajectory of things.
Mhm.
Unless proven wrong at this point by San Diego Wave, by something, I'm gonna stick to with this is a lost cause of a season. This is a wash. I know you called me out on this last week, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm not.
You're pretty much saying done. So it's done.
I am putting I'm burying a hatchet. I'm burying the hatchet with this season for now. Unless something happens, unless there's new input, and unless what else is happening, right? Delphine Cascarino comes in. She lights it up. She's now able to free some space, some coverage. She's doing a pseudo Trinity Rodman type role,
Right.
being a disruptor on the wing and demanding that attention. Then you can get Melanie Barcenas in there as well to bring that change of pace and move the ball from each side. And does San Diego Wave then have that ball movement? Does Jaden Shaw move into a more creative role where she's able to really dictate those things? And Morgan is involved somehow
I
in
think
this.
it's
I don't
just,
know.
it's really just a matter of taking advantage of the few opportunities you'll get, right? A lot of the shots on target that Wave will get are not very challenging shots for goalkeepers or anything like that. So I think it's just really a matter of like, I mean, I think at the Angel City game, there was a cross where Alex Morgan had a header and it was right to the hands of the goalkeeper, like taking advantage of those little chances to make something big out of it. And I think Cascarino can definitely help in that. This Wave team defensively is not the worst.
It's not.
It's not the worst. And you're going to get Naomi Girma back and you got to figure something out. You're going to get Kellen Sheridan back as well, but you have to score the goals, which again, you have to take advantage of those little plays, and that hasn't been the case all season. Abe, are you calling it quits? Are you saying done? They're done?
No, I think there's still a chance. They have too many playoff spots, and every sport has too many playoff spots nowadays. So if they make a run at the end of the season, especially if you never know, they get a new coach, like Tony says, then all of a sudden you have new tactics, new energy, new everything, and then the whole rest of the league isn't prepared for that, and you can create some disruption that other teams aren't ready for, and then next thing you know, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a crazy season with NWSL. You really never know, right? Everybody's still in it until they're not. And granted, that's why they make everybody have a chance to make playoffs. And it's such a big wild card. It's still a league with 14 teams, right? It's still a league that doesn't have those things fleshed out where, you know what, we can be a little bit more cutthroat with who's on and who's not. They need that revenue. They can take that revenue, as many stars as want. And yes, Padre McPadre, there were 6. Gotham was 6, which is the last position of qualification that last year.
I mean, they're 3 points behind Bay FC. Like, I mean, there's still plenty of games left. I do think they make the playoffs. I don't think the NWSL script writers have that in place. I think Wave somehow squeeze in an 8th, maybe 7th. Oh, actually, no, 7th's a little far gone. 8th is their best shot. But yeah, no, I don't see Wave missing out on the playoffs.
They shouldn't even be talking about 8th or anything. You should be talking about either in or out. That's it. In or out, black and white. Are they in or are they going to be out? I don't care what place you're in.
3-game winning run and you're completely back in.
Why? Because you're telling me that they're going to do well against these top 4 teams. Like I think that's if they make it to playoffs, then something changed, obviously. But some of these teams are so well polished, like they're incredible to watch. And like Orlando Pride this season is a machine. They are a machine, and
they tied against Wave back in June.
So
this Wave
is capable.
That's the thing about this Wave team. That's the thing about this Wave team. They can literally compete against any team they go out on the field. Look at the game against America. They were in there 0-0 until like the last few minutes, and then they just kind of gave it away. So this team competes against anyone they step on the field with. It's just the results haven't been there. There has been that aspect of very bad luck, which Casey Tony was kind of point out before, right? And I do think the soccer gods weren't with them in some of the games for sure. Granted, it's not like their play style or anything is also pretty, but they're not playing the worst defensively, which gives you a chance, Tony.
It does.
Like, what's that saying we hear in
does.
every sport? Defense wins championships. That applies here in soccer too.
But you eventually have to score. You eventually have
that's
to.
the thing.
Someone has to score a
That's the
goal.
thing.
Somebody
And
has to
you
score.
bring in someone that could potentially
and
score
say,
those goals.
And say you don't, right? And say you don't score. Guess what? You go to penalties, but you got to win those penalties. Something Wave hasn't done. So I mean, I'm working with what I'm seeing, with what I've been seeing.
You heard it here first. Tony rules out San Diego away from playoff contention.
Sure. Say that. Prove me wrong, Wave.
Oh,
prove me wrong. At this point, there's no evidence that shows me. There's nothing. There's no empirical numbers.
Yeah, you would say the same thing about Loyal in the past.
Hey,
and they would make playoffs.
And they would make playoffs, and they very much would. And you know what? They gave it. They were there. All right. They went to Texas once, and then.
Oh, PC man.
Okay.
I got something else.
They've been playing evenly all game, not to tie or lose the last minute of the game. They have scored, but refs keep calling them back. Sure, I'll give you that. There's been chances, there's been opportunities, but the last Casey Stoney led game against Houston Dash, when who was it? At least Bennett took a goal away from Morgan, perhaps, or Shaw. I don't remember exactly who it was, but there's just these things that are happening. It's a cavalcade of comedy.
You gotta believe, Tony. Gotta believe, don't be a grouch. That's what Paul Buckle.
That's why I'm wearing green.
Paul Buckle also says, if you believe, they believe.
Billy, yeah. I mean, okay. That has to be insulting.
Ted Lasso just
that has to be insulting. Hey, y'all, Wave players. I know you guys have been through it, but I know one thing you guys haven't tried is believing that you can win. Oh, but we haven't really won. But we scored 3 goals that other day, didn't we? Didn't we now? Well, kind of, but we still haven't really won.
But
they
all say that they believe, though. It's not that they don't. They all think they believe too. Like, everyone believes at this point. I don't know who doesn't believe. Like, the results don't believe. I guess the soccer gods don't believe right now.
I mean, if the effort they're putting in, does that back it up? Because I mean, the way they're playing too is you can kind of you can believe all you want, but if the work's not being put in.
You got to transfer that somewhere. Your leaders aren't there. Kaylin Sheridan's trying her darnest. You have that goalkeeping position and the defense that's doing the best, and as a unit between her, Gurma, and Dahlkemper, where she decides to play. And then after that, it's kind of broken. Will the midfield show up? Will the offense show up? Are they going to connect? Are we really going to be waiting and playing the counterattack and not have a counterattacking design team in play until Melanie Barcenas comes in? And then there we go. And
you can believe you're going to win the lottery, but if you don't buy tickets, you're not going to win it.
I like that.
I like that. Just like your hat says, faith. Faith +1.
Something random that I think you would like, Tony. I went briefly to the Kristen press conference after the Wave press conference, and she was talking a lot about like what she was going through when the penalty came up, and like how she became a vessel for all the energy in the stadium. It reminded me a little bit of Dragon Ball Z, you know, the spirit.
Yeah.
What's it called? The
spirit bomb, the Genki Dama. Everybody raises their hands and lends a little bit of energy and creates this energy ball of pureness and benevolence that can destroy and eradicate any sort of evil. And that's what
you can say that she believed she was in the scar.
Not a she believes so, but I think this sums it up pretty well. Let's put our hands up collectively, guys, and give Wave some energy, some good karma. But other than that, in order to sum up this San Diego Wave season,
we can give them some good karma next week as well on the episode.
San Diego Wave season has pretty much been. Oh, Wave.
Is that birthday boy Papi Chavo in the chat?
Oh, Wave. That isn't. Oh, Wave. No, it's. Wave.
Oh, Wave. Oh, Wave. Oh, Wave.
Shout out to everybody in the Sirens who's taking a well-deserved break. We'll be back with them just to get their updates or perspective. I know some of them are enjoying the Olympics and firsthand stuff. 50 Feet Club in the chat. Season's greetings, Papi Chavo. We're gonna go ahead.
Pretty sure it's Papi Chavo's birthday.
Yeah, see, today or two or yet, and you know what? It's always Papi Chavo Day here in the 619, homie.
Viva la raza.
Anything else, Abe? We do have, again, that Panama trip looking forward for San Diego Wave. Any press availability, we'll make sure to make that available to everybody because, again, let me make this clear. when we can't, you and I, we have our stuff to do. Abe sacrifices himself in a lot of different ways in order to bring the best coverage for San Diego Wave. And it's not just because he's part of San Diego Punto Futbol. It's just you're the guy. And I know you're not, you don't tout this or have your flag on it, but like you're working your ass off. And I hope San Diego Wave and fan base realizes that, like,
Cue the QR code to donate and said Abe to Panama to follow it.
Yeah, so start that.
I should have
GoFundMe.
done that. I think
really
if
should have.
we started that earlier on, we might have been able to do that. But I don't want to go to
What's the
Panama.
flight to Panama?
Let's let me viaje a Panama, because if we send Abe, we're not gonna pay top dollar. De Tijuana. You have a passport,
I'll
right?
take CBX. Yeah, I have Sentry. I have a passport.
Oh, about $700.
$700.
On trip.
No thanks.
Hey, I mean, if you're in the chat and you want to send Abe to watch and cover San Diego Wave game in Panama, and will Jaden Shaw be back? No, she won't be back. Because then you can ask her that same question you always ask her.
I didn't do that.
Abe, it's a wonder to have you here. Abe
love
Cepeda,
We love
Final San Diego Punto Futbol, Abe_Cepeda. He'll be joining here in the background. I said the wrong person away. I know I didn't, and I'll bring myself over here. Season's greetings to everybody who's joining us. Papi Chavo, saludos. All right. Sick times over at Snapdragon Land, for San Diego Wave.
Snapdragon Land.
Snapdragon, it's a canon. It's real to me. Like, it's San Diego Wave lives there. SDFC lives there.
Snapdragon
They
Land.
got this pretty cool frat brother in.
Dragonlandia.
They have this pretty cool frat brother in the SD Legion that like knows Marshmallow somehow.
Oh,
Did you see Marshmallow was performing?
yeah.
But yeah, so
Ya llegó el pinche Erwin al chat.
Arriba la América, says
¿Vas a
Edwin.
ir a Snapdragonlandia para el viernes, Erwin?
Snapdragon Land will
A ver
be
estos
having
Huilas.
America's Mexican Club
I'm pretty sure it's against Atlas.
against Atlas for Leagues Cup. That's going to be interesting. We've applied. Hopefully, we get it. All right, so let's go ahead and move and transition into our next segment. We do talk a lot about just soccer in San Diego. There's this different, to borrow a term from a local team, things get woven into one, some would say, or two or three or 18 at times. But there's different stories with the game. But fundamentally, this is what I like about it, is that I don't care how you end up in the game, around the game. It's infectious and it will take you by storm if you give it the attention. And yeah, it's not for everybody. It really isn't. Like, I know people who have legitimately tried to like soccer and they just can't. That's okay. Like, my rule for TV shows, I'll watch the first season. I'll try the second season, but I'll give it that try. But if it's not a show for me, I'm just gonna say no. It's not a show for me. I'm sorry. It's not. Frasier. Nope. You know what Frasier is?
No, I don't.
Okay, cool.
What other shows are not for you?
What is another show that's not for me? Suits.
Mm.
Not for me. It's not for me. It's a good. I can recognize it's a good show.
Yeah,
I recognize it's a great show.
It's not Grey's Anatomy for you.
Grey's Anatomy is a fantastic trash show. It's the most garbage thing that you can ever lay your eyes on.
Yeah.
Same stories, same sexy doctors, same, quirky nurses and dynamics, and it's fine. Bridgerton, I get held against my will for it. We can have a House of the Dragon discussion. Again, this podcast can literally
Do you watch
be
any
anything.
reality TV?
No. I mean, I like reality game shows like Deal or No Deal back in the day. Like OG Deal, No Deal, Fear Factor.
Do you ever play
Hell's
in
Kitchen.
arcades? The Deal or No Deal in arcades?
Yes, I have, and I
Yeah.
won the whole thing once, and I
That's
stopped playing after that.
awesome.
I stopped
That
playing
is
after that. I'm like,
badass.
nope, that's it. I'm never gonna play this game. But yeah, so as such, this tapestry, the stories that happen here in San Diego, is including people of the community. This we have El Zarape de San Diego, which is our segment for the community that we talk with individuals who make up the mosaic of the beautiful game in San Diego, and that extends into various different ways. We've known this next individual for a couple of years, and just always being very courteous with and just a genuine person, good person to chat to and talk to. We had reached out about, hey, how do we do this? Let's go ahead and get you in because I think it's a very interesting perspective that you have, in terms of just your story with and your relationship with the game in San Diego. So let's work on it because I think it's very interesting and good to get that perspective out. So let's go ahead and welcome our guest for the Sarapa de San Diego, El Papa. I was gonna play the thing, but it's not. I can't. That's exclusive for. You know what is it? I'm looking at him. Do you want it? I can throw it on there. He says, "Hands up." You know what? That's his boy. That's his boy. He's proud of him.
Lucas, great save from Shuttler, the first test of the evening. Looking in Taylor's direction, heads him down. Ferree is there. Big time save. From his end now, Durant Ferree, what a save.
Literally the worst.
No, it's not. No, it's the best, dude. It's the best. And I just love how you included that one save from Shuttler in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was so great.
It's part of it. It's a package that we received from Orange County. So I'm like, you know what? I wonder. But
okay, season's greetings.
Season's greetings.
As a big fan, I'm super pumped to even be on the show. My wife, while she's watching TV, she's like, "What are you watching? Those two balls and guys again?" I'm like, "Yes." That's basically what I'm doing. Yes.
Sorry, Mama Ferree.
Season's greetings to everybody in the family. But Michael Ferree, welcome. For those of you who aren't familiar, father of first San Diego FC signing in the history of the club, the first MLS team here in the city representing San Diego, was Durant Ferree. And you know him, you love him. The artist formerly known as San Diego Loyal's goalkeeper, transitioning into this new position. And I mean, again, we talked about a little bit how, we want to make sure to not overshadow what the actual athlete is doing in this at all, at any point. But man, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not that crazy parent. You know what I mean? I'm not that, but I am a freaking big fan, of course. And it's been fun to watch. I mean, we were fans of Loyal before he ever joined the academy, so ironically, first and foremost, we were Loyal fans. And so it's really cool. The timing of everything with Durant has been a blessing, so it's pretty cool.
No, it's awesome. And that's really, really good. I mean, a fan of it just naturally, organically, you heard of the team. Durant already played at that point, I imagine, and it was pretty into it. How did you guys come about into your soccer adventure as a family?
Well, we weren't a soccer family, to be honest with you, until Durant came around. And I think the youth of today, at least this generation of kids, the first thing they start doing is playing soccer. I mean, it's so easy to enter, playing down at the city rec team at 5-6 years old and kick the ball around. It's so hard to play baseball or basketball or football. Baseball is boring. I mean, I play baseball, growing up, but at the end of the day, T-ball's a sleeper of a game. Your kids are out there picking flowers. Some kids are interacting, some are not. But soccer, if you have a kid that is athletic or wants to play, like immediately they're out there kicking the ball, scoring goals, getting that instant gratification of doing something really, really awesome. So yeah, once he started playing, we sort of grew up in the sport together. I couldn't be that dad that really coached because I didn't really know the game. Now, as my wife says, soccer is life here, and so if there's a game on and it doesn't even matter, she's like, "Why are you watching this game?" It's like one of those things where it's like a random, team and we're watching the game. I don't know, because we watch what's going on. And so it's been fun, man, because watching him sort of grow through the sport and be passionate about it has been a lot of fun.
I do want to ask, I mean, obviously Durant gets into the game, right? He's a kid, he's playing. At what point did you realize or said to yourself, "Oh, my kid's special, like he can make it to the next level"?
Can I be 100% honest? I will always be 100% honest with you. So, but it probably wasn't until a year before he joined the Loyal Academy that it really clicked. I mean, he started playing, like I said, around 6, and he was that kid that scored goals all the time and was pretty like just athletic kid, and then he went to surf when he was, I think about 9, and they didn't have a goalkeeper, so they just rotated all the kids. Everyone had to play a half of goalkeeper, and he's like, did that for a year. Still scored goals, played the mid, I think it was the number 9 spot mainly, and scored goals here and there. But he's like, Dad, I really want to play goalkeeper full time. We're like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want it? Because once you go there, there's no really coming back from that. And so he just dove into goalkeeping, loved it. And people would say like, oh man, he's really, really good. I go, oh, okay. Is he?
Yeah, I mean, yes, he is.
You know what I mean? But that was sort of the situation.
Yeah.
That was the situation, was like, I think he's good, but I'm his dad, so I'm not really entirely sure. But after watching other kids, and then people go, no, he's got good hands, great feet, and does has good eye-hand coordination, all this sort of things, and he's definitely better than I was like, okay, cool. What does that mean? I don't know. What does that did it ever like click that I thought he would be professional? Not really. Because at that point you're just get good grades in school, work hard, practice, all that sort of stuff, and then whatever happens. But I'd say probably around 14, 15, it was like once he went to Loyal and Matt Hall really is like, no, he's special. That's kind of when it sort of clicked. I was like, oh, this is a possibility,
And then it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a couple of months, couple years, some development. There you are walking in and eventually getting that contract, that professional contract that gets you through the door. Can you talk about just kind of you and your family's experience with this? What are those talks like? Like, hey, like, are you sure you want to do this? Because it has some implications on the back end with education and whatnot, right? So what was that dynamic like as a dad going through it and trying to make sure that your kid at the end of the day does what's best for them, but is also happy?
Yeah. I mean, he really wanted to, this was his dream. This is his dream, to play professional soccer and really play in Europe and play at the highest level. That's what he wants to do. And we talked about it. And of course, his mom was more cautious, right? And going, if he does this, what about college? All this sort of stuff. And I was kind of like, live your dream, man. This is an opportunity that may not come around again. Let's let the kid live, kind of thing. And if this is what he wants to do, let's support him, and take this opportunity and go further with it and see what happens. And then, if something doesn't work out, then school's always there. It's not going to go anywhere. And so, yeah, it was definitely challenging because, these kids aren't getting paid a lot of money. Right. So like as a parent, you're like, well, how do we pay for college? So once you go pro, and if he does want to go to college, there's no scholarship. You can't, he's not going to go there and play and get, a scholarship. So how do we sort of justify that a little bit and call it, and so it was a conversation that went, back and forth. But at the end of the day, we kind of had to put faith in Duran and what he wanted to do and just support him.
And it's really cool that you have that outsider perspective, speaking about like just the game in general, right? Like you weren't a natural, soccer fan coming up and growing up. You don't have that instinct where you can kind of, hey, look, the mechanics are this way, or when you're in this situation, you can just kind of put yourself in this headspace. And or I get what it feels like to, get a hat trick scored on you, or I know what that feels like. So what are those kind of things that you bounce off of him with? Because again, he's still a growing boy at the end of the day. Like he's still maturing. He still had a long way to go to get to his prime. He's got a good head start, but I mean, what are those conversations like where you, okay, I'm done with you, Ricardo. All right. I get it. I get it. Like it's cool. Landon, cool. You two back to Durant. But what's that like essentially? Like,
and like firsthand what island that goalkeepers live on, right? Compared to other field players where, mistakes can get lost in the shuffle out in the field, but a mistake in front of that goalpost becomes tragic, And so how do you deal with a position that there's a lot of failure involved in it? Is interesting, and I think it's twofold for Duran. He's such a good kid, and he's very calm, and he's very positive and forward thinking, and I think that's innate. And I think some of these like things, not only being athletic, but certain things are just sort of innate in a personality, that he's born with, and I think he's just blessed with that to some extent. But it's something we talk about, balancing positive and negative situations, and how negative situations, being negative, can greatly affect your play, or just even your chemistry and positive things. So how do you deal with things when they do get negative? And how do you sort of remain positive, or what we talk about is being neutral in situations where, listen, there's no chance where we're down 4 goals. There's no pretending to be a positive person right now, right? You're gonna freaking lose. But how do you just stay neutral and continue to work on the next play and forget about it and move forward? And then when the game's over, analyze it, perfect it, move forward. Like it's definitely a challenge, especially at a young age. And like I said, as a goalkeeper, I mean, I was shocked to some extent when we were going to Loyal games. We were exposed because we were sitting behind the goal, which I think has been good for Duran, to watch like behind the goal of what's his, I'm sorry, the keeper at before Koke.
Austin.
Austin, watching Austin on these guys play and get heckled, and get heckled by loyal or opposing fans. Goalkeepers get heckled by loyal fans and kind of laugh about it, and having him do that because, he got, what was that game last year, or he got thrown into, I think it was Mexico or New Mexico or something like that, when he got 2 or 3 goals scored on him within, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. You remember that game?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And I hear it on TV, the fans going, Duran, you suck. Duran, you suck. Duran, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. And I'm like, I won't curse on your show, but I'm like, I was saying a lot of freaking curse words. I'm like, these men are yelling at a 16-year-old. He just got 2 or 3 goals scored on him. And they're thinking it's okay to tell a kid that he sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, no other player on that field is going to get that. Nobody, except a goalkeeper, is going to be put in that situation where there's that sort of level of pressure, and then that sort of level of torment, I guess you could say, throughout the game. And to be able to, put that all in perspective when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, is I think something that all professional goalkeepers need, learn or learn how to deal with, that probably we normal people wouldn't be able to handle,
I mean, the goalkeeping position, that's what we say. Like, I mean, good that you didn't have that background in soccer, Michael, because had he said, hey, I'm going to be a goalkeeper, the red flags would have gone like, wait, there's 11 people on the field and you want to be the one that uses their hands? Like the one that, and there's one of you, there's an 11 or 10 others on the field. Like, at least the referee runs the whole time, right? Like a goalkeeper, like
it's a hit or miss, right? I mean, if I told my dad growing up, I was like, oh, I want to be a goalkeeper. Like, no, you're not. Like, no.
And I'm thinking about it now. Like when I told, so for me,
it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's
was.
A big deal when you tell your dad.
You're talking about, and my dad didn't grow up with soccer either. Like he wasn't a soccer fan. Same thing with like Michael. He grew up with baseball, other sports, and like that was his bread and butter. Even then, he wasn't really a sports guy, but it's just the unlimited support of your child. Like that's something I'm forever grateful for. And yeah, like you don't really understand what's going on in there, in between the ears, unless you're there. And it's the same thing. I started scoring goals and I was always the bigger kid. And then I did 100%. And then one day, and I remember it, one day, and and I had come over from playing from being in karate in Chungkuk Do, which is Chuck Norris's discipline. And we've proven that actually a couple times. Met Chuck Norris a couple times, had no idea who he was. But I knew how to throw myself, like that physical thing. So once they put me in goal, it was like a fish in water. Like I can express myself with my entire body. I got hit in the face and a bloody nose that first game that I played. And you know what? It's the most alive. I've been chasing that dragon ever since. Like
Oh, that's hilarious. That's
the
funny.
most alive.
And the real reason now, Michael, that he's a goalkeeper, he was just a big chubby kid and he didn't want to run. That's the only reason.
Well, yeah. I mean, getting hit in the head now answers a lot of my questions. You know, that young at age. You know, but it is crazy. I mean, not only that, like people don't understand the position, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't play or really are involved in that position, the whole game is different. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about getting critiqued because you didn't save a goal, because something maybe centimeter here or there, or something happened where you didn't get it, and you get and you get ridiculed for it, or whatever. And then on the other side of it is you get blessed for making a save that you probably should have made it a lot easier, but because you were maybe out of position, it would look harder, and now somehow it's like an amazing save. No, it's like, so it's funny because like the critics out there, very few really know that position. And it's so easy to go, the goalkeeper fucked up right there, you know, or whatever, when you really have no idea.
It's really one of those things where you don't know until you're there. And even then, like it's a very hard position. And thank you for putting that respect on that. And you get a front row to it. I just pulled this up real quick, and Chiva was left like speechless because I have receipts. Like look at how small those other kids are compared to me. That tank.
Tony, we know you were using those Chuck Norris elbows to like get through the, you know. You were like,
it was a special occasion.
Your slide tackles were a little dangerous. I bet.
Well, I mean, just to give you perspective, that game we were actually winning, and this was part of the bigger shoot of it, and that was the first half. Once the game was settled, they put the goalkeeper out on the field. So, just that intensity. Look at that.
You're like Kirby, just inhaling the kids as they are passing out.
Bro, was that a Spider-Man goalkeeper kit?
Yes. He still has it.
Bro, dude,
no, he still has it. It's his bread and butter. It is his joy kit, his favorite kit of all time. His little Spider-Man kit.
That's amazing.
Found it.
How is that not hanging up back there, dude? How is that not hanging up on the wall of fame behind you? Oh my God, that's so great. That is so great. Put that on right now. Go ahead and put that on.
I haven't lost that much weight. I mean, but upon request, I'll put on this.
Oh, you're okay. Let's see this thing
for the bit.
For the bit.
Yeah, just dropped your head.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
I'm very curious to see if this actually kind of goes.
No, there's no way he's getting that over his. There's no way he's getting past his shoulders. No.
Yeah, no, not even the shoulders. All right. Spider-Man kit.
100%. You should tell Duran to really kind of look into.
Hey, SDFC, if you're listening to this SDFC, which I'm sure you are, bring a Spider-Man kit for Duran Ferree.
Yeah.
SDFC goalkeepers. That'd be sick.
Speaking of SDFC goalkeepers,
MLS.
Look at that. I mean, talk about one step and what led into the next one, right? Then this happens.
It's amazing.
Duran Ferree is the first signing for San Diego FC, the MLS team here in San Diego. Again, I want to get your perspective. What was the family just kind of dynamic with? Is that kind of something that it gets held up with regards in the Ferree family? Like that's on the family crest, like boom, firstborn Ferree.
It's cool. It's amazing. It's more than amazing. It's a blessing really to the family because you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into things, and there's also a lot of timing, you know, that go into things. And so obviously Loyal was amazing timing, and so sad it was short-lived. And then San Diego FC coming around was amazing timing. You know, sometimes things fall in place, and we talk about just how do you capitalize on that when those things happen. because sometimes they don't. And even when they do, it's your hard work and what you're going to do after that is really going to solidify your name in the books. And so, yeah, it's freaking awesome being, San Diego, here in San Diego, and, him being born and raised here. It was really awesome to have him close and so young. He'd be willing to move tomorrow to Europe, or go somewhere to live his dream. But mom and dad were like, "Oh, this is great. He can stay. He can stay here." So it's really cool, man. And I think what's awesome is that with SDFC, as far as I know, from what everybody else has seen in the public and what they talk about playing style, it's also fits his playing style. One of the awesome things was that Surf, at a very young age, builds, teaches goalkeepers in the back to build from the back and play with your feet and do all this sort of stuff. And so that's all of Duran's sort of skills with his feet and his abilities really came from Surf soccer, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And, their goalkeeper coach, Kellen Bronis, has been with him since the day he started playing goalkeeper up until even now. In off season, he'll train with him and do different things. And so, Loyal has been so like Nate was crazy, to be honest with you, with his style of playing a goalkeeper up, and so aggressive and experimental to some extent, at least from my opinion. He'll say it's not experimental. He's probably, very dialed in, but playing that type of soccer, which will probably be the norm in 10 years, was really awesome, and just kind of allowed Duran to grow from the Surf build up into this loyal, intense thing, and then to go into San Diego FC with a very similar style of play. I can only say it's a blessing, because it's not always that simple. He could be on a team that just wants to kick the ball, or doesn't have the back line to be able to play out the back and all that sort of stuff. So it's a blessing. It's awesome. We love watching it. Big fan.
So, I mean, the question was asked here in the chat by Luis Amaya, would he have been allowed? Because right now he's globetrotting it with U.S. Youth national team, right? Like, that's the parent aspect of that has to be crazy. The wildest field trip ever asked. The permission slips must be insane. Make sure you read those. But he's out. He's doing his thing. What do you see from your perspective when you see your boy going into these exotic tropical lands and or different places around the world? Like, he's seeing the world at a very young age.
Yeah. Right now he's on a flight from Mexico, Leon, Mexico. Right now he should be landing here in San Diego in about an hour. It's pretty it's insane. The guy, I mean, Loyal traveled what do they claim, like 40,000 miles last year?
Yeah.
Something like that. And that didn't include his trip to Brazil with the US, to Guatemala with the Gold Cup, to Indonesia for the World Cup. So I mean, that was all just last year. He must have traveled like 60, 75,000 miles on an air, and which is it's wild to me. It sounds completely exhausting. Thank God he's young and probably doesn't really know any better. But like, yeah, it's insane. It's pretty crazy. I mean, as far as this question goes, as far as letting him go to a European academy, at this point, I'm literally just his dad, and so now he and his agent and all this sort of stuff, make up most of the decisions that are good for him. But as going to play in academy or in Europe, you have to be 18 or have a to actually get minutes. So he doesn't have a European passport. So, but he turns 18 in September. But he's so excited for San Diego FC. I mean, I'm not here to speak for him, but yeah, that's sort of the scenario there.
You know what? We might need to do a little bit more research on it, but there's a chance Duran was probably the pro player in the world with the most mileage traveled last season.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, he's on there.
Think about it.
If San Diego Loyal was described the most traveled team in the world, by de facto,
Duran traveled more than any player in that team.
Oh, by maybe double. Like I don't know. Like we have to pull out the map and do the thing. But yeah, it was what was it?
That's
So
insane.
Brazil, was it Brazil? I can't even remember now, to be honest with you. But Guatemala,
Guatemala.
Brazil. Oh, it was Brazil for a camp. They played Brazil. And then Indonesia.
Who else wasn't? I mean, no, there's no other.
Like,
Literally, the only one that had a chance were the Kiwis, maybe, but that's about it. Kyle Adams.
Yeah, Kyle Adams went back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what? Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm gonna hit up virtual stat man, Sean, San Diego Loyal, who helped put the Loyal Legacy book out.
Yeah. He'll probably
definitely know that guy.
He'll get on it. That he'll probably.
He's on a yacht. He's on a yacht in Monaco right now, just watching football to the mic.
It's cool.
But what's next, Michael? Like, I mean,
what's the dream destination?
Are you living it? Is that what it is? Because that's a fair answer too.
What's that?
What's the dream as far as right now? Just are you satisfied as a pop? Like,
for me, no, everything he does. I'm completely satisfied with what he's doing. I'm so impressed by his work ethic, his mentality. Like I said, I wish I could take credit for it. You know what I mean? But really, I think he's just sort of a gifted individual from an athletic standpoint and a mental standpoint. He goes to school every day. After he drives up to Irvine right now, playing with Orange County, gets back at 1:30, goes to school at 2. This school, I never have to ask him, did you do your homework? He does it, gets home, then he'll go to sauna or an ice bath, and then he'll come home, go to sleep. He doesn't drink soda. Like, the kid is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. In my mind, like, I'm like, do you want a soda? No, I'll just drink. I'll have water or whatever, and it's not even a big deal. It's just what he does, like, it's just his thing. And I think he literally is thinking way further than I'm thinking, So, no, I'm impressed by him as just a man, and I can't be more proud of him just as an individual. And anything he does with sports is literally icing on the cake, So
I love that. I mean, look, we've come across him a couple times, and we work with the youth, so I can tell you from a mile away when there's a good kid, and when there's no such thing as a bad kid. There's just a good kid that made bad choices. But I'll say that Duran is up there, man. So you've done a fantastic job with him, and at the end of the day, like, he's gonna be his own man coming up, and we're gonna be witnesses to something very special. Esteban knows too. Fellow goalkeepers, very very mature, has a good mentality. I mean, he shook off a red card from what I saw. Just, I mean, like nothing, like almost like that didn't even happen. And I was very happy with that. I was like, good.
That was the craziest thing. As far as a parent, like, I feel like I might be more traumatized than he is in most situations, with these things. Because, like, that was insane, bro. That was insane, that game. And he, did his best and made it, went out on a couple balls that who knows what he should have done in those situations, right? But, like, get a red card in a Gold Cup final as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Probably never been probably never. Go get your stat guy on that one too.
Yeah.
Duran's probably the first for that too. And we haven't talked about it after we talked about after the game, of course, and all that sort of stuff. And really the conversation was like, it is what it is. We move on, and that's just how that's how it goes. That's the wonderful, beautiful game of soccer. And so things like that happen. But I mean, that was crazy. I mean, that whole tournament was crazy. I mean, they played Guatemala, and they're shining like lights in his eyes, like
lasers.
Yeah, the lasers in his eyes on PKs and throughout the game and all, and that was like super hostile. That's why it's funny, because, like, a little inside baseball, but there's been times, I'll just talk generally, where people go, I don't know if I want to put a kid into the game right now, or into the game. And I go, we're talking about a USL game. First of all, he's played in Guatemala against a very hostile crowd. He played against Mexico, lost. I think he's trust me, he's probably played in bigger games than most USL players. No offense, please, sorry, but like so like I don't think you have to worry about that, as a thing, other than skill and making normal mistakes because inexperience. But you don't have to worry about his mentality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that definitely usually comes with later in age. But again, a testament to where he's at in his development is he's ahead of the game. He's definitely ahead of the game. One last question here, Michael. It has to do with that mural. We were there for the kit reveal. I have one question that can be answered. The second one, I don't know if you can or want to. I'd really, really like if
Let me
if
take a
there
sip of
was
my
an answer.
tequila first, and then I'll determine if I answer or not.
Here we go. All right.
Right.
First question is: have you negotiated with Andrew Vasiliadis on trying to take that wall home? One.
That's funny. I think he was kind of weirded out by it, right? And I'm not just talking about the painting, okay? I know there's like all sorts of things with that. And God
Which
bless
is the
those two
second
painters.
question.
They're amazing. They're
Yeah.
amazing artists. So there's no way like we can critique them. But yeah, he's like, what is like they're gonna what? They're gonna do a paint. This is like, I mean, he's 16. It was kind of just like a weird. You were there, Tony.
Yeah.
And you asked him, and he's like, yeah. And they did a reveal, and he just goes, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what am I supposed to say about
That's
this?
a 16-year-old answer. Like, I love that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like oh, okay, cool, thanks.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, I don't know how to process this
Trying to go
thing.
play Fortnite with my boys. Like, sorry.
But it is. I guess it's still up. Yeah. Didn't Andrew say that on your interview? I think he said it's still up.
Yeah, no, it's still up. Giant sign still up. Shake Shack still across the street or across the way. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm really curious. Like I think in the Museum of Loyal that Coach Beto Kitman has, that wall needs to exist at least. Like
that'd be sick.
That was kind of the best. I am I wrong in saying I felt like that one was the most similar to the player? No?
I can Collins. Yeah, no. Okay. Guido was having a shellfish allergic reaction while dribbling the ball. Colin was a Colin, probably somewhere. That was Colin.
It was a variant.
Duran, I can definitely see. You know why? Because he's very young and his features haven't developed. So you know what? That is at that point. I will back you up on that 100%.
I felt like it was, similar. It's, it's close. I think he had like a broken finger though in it, like I think his one finger was like out or something. I don't know. But are you able to pull it up?
I'm pulling it up right. I remember that day. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at that smile of him like, yeah, that's
me on the wall.
That's me. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, look at that pinky.
Yeah, it's that pinky, dude. It's already broken. Hopefully that's not foreshadowing,
Yeah, no, he'll be fine. Make sure he wraps. Make sure he gets that proper wrappage against around the fingers. But
yeah,
that
left pinky is a little wonky.
I love it. Now I'm looking at it right now. That does look like Duran. Like that's the closest one to out of the three. I saw the renderings for the other players and not the ones that actually happened, but some of the other players. I'm like, I'm glad they went with simple features here.
They did call him dirty on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
They should put a mirror and just like, you can be a loyal player instead of just giving him a face, right? But Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. I know, you're picking him up. Is that what's happening? Dad has that responsibility.
No, mom's getting him. Getting him. Yeah. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the show with everybody else here.
No, appreciate you, but this is something something that I really enjoy. Again, it's a different perspective, and again, as we move forward, if you ever want to hop on back, I'd love to do that, and even do at some point a father-son pod.
Is Tony? Is Luis saying I'm like? Am I the Deadpool Ryan Reynolds? Like, because that's offensive, Luis. Like
your regeneration cells actually work.
Okay.
So that's you're that nice pool.
Okay, before the
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
All right. I wish.
Yeah, no.
My wife wishes too.
Love that, Michael. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll have you back soon. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
de San Diego.
Just want to say one thing.
Yes.
One thing. I have I watch you guys forever, and I just want to say, Chiva, I stand with you a little bit in solidarity. I'm gonna burn a lot of bridges here, but I just want you to know that I'm right. I'm right here with you, my friend. Right here with you. Okay.
I
All right.
love
Now
that.
you can take me off.
I love that. Thank you so much, Michael. Have a great night.
All right. See ya.
Have a good one, Michael. That was for you. That was for
does
you.
Michael fall like
That was for you, Chiva.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that actually.
I know. That was great.
Which makes me
in your best dads, what does Michael fall? Like Michael's a pretty fucking cool dad.
Everything seems fine, but this leads me to believe, Chiva, a dangerous, this dangerous thought.
Jeremy, what the fuck?
Does this make Duran Ferree a Dodger fan? I don't want to know. I don't want to find out. I'd rather not know.
Duran Ferree could potentially land to LAFC or LA Galaxy.
LA, lifelong LA fan. The Ferrees. I see Abe turn on his light. We're gonna have him join on if you want that thumbs up. All right, cool, perfect. All right, cool, excellent. That's breaking news. Duran Ferree, first San Diego loyal player to transition, first San Diego FC player to sign, is not a Dodger fan. He is indeed a Padre fan. Breaking news through and through. Thank goodness. I'm trying to figure out when.
I thought Michael was going to say,
good.
I agree with you. Playing anywhere in Europe is better than playing anywhere. I was like, yes, thanks. I was not expecting
I was not expecting that at all.
That was amazing.
That's fantastic. Hey, we're going to bring you back in.
I
No,
felt as a father.
you've done such a wonderful job. You try
bit.
to corrupt him to the dark side, and Duran knows. You offer him some Coca-Cola, and he's like, "Nah, father, I'll take some Padre water."
That was an amazing interview. Michael's great dad, great interview. That was awesome. Even had the cool dismount too, just to shock the people. That was crazy.
That was
amazing.
so.
I think you guys dropped off. Dang. Okay. Well, Dodger fans. There you go.
We're back.
Chiva's back. There you guys go. You're back.
Way back. Chiva is a Dodger fan. Luis, let me tell you the story. Yes, that's it. End of story.
Luis, just to give you some background, I was born in LA.
You're not helping.
So I do support LA teams.
You're not helping.
I'm not helping. I don't.
You support LA teams? You're an LA Galaxy fan? Is that what I'm hearing?
I actually don't have an MLS favorite.
You don't have an MLS favorite team? All right, me
don't.
neither, actually.
I know. It was just Chivas, Man U. That's it.
Chivas USA, the name?
No, actually, I didn't root for Chivas USA. They were from LA, though.
They were from LA. Shout out Jimmy Conrad. Shout out Sal Zizzo. Shout out former San Diego loyal Avila.
Eric Avila.
Eric Avila's second interview on Two Balls in the Mic history.
But
that was cool. Just getting that perspective from that honestly, that's why I wanted, because it's really cool. You see these stories, and he's just one of them, right? That's a success story of somebody who was able to make it professionally, regardless of what age, period. There's fathers, there's people. Right now I looked at my own personal Instagram, and there was somebody who hit me up again. Not this person again, but just another person who was like, hey, my son is a really good player. How do I academy? And that's what it said. How do I academy? Because it's a foreign, there's a language barrier there. And I went to their profile. They're from the Middle East. And I'm like, cool. That's dope. But there's people who are trying, and there's people who are doing this across the border. SDFC is going to have tryouts coming up. Open tryouts, and they announced in Tijuana and San Diego, in Romero Manso, just hallowed grounds for soccer in Tijuana, in the region that's next to the border, Otay border. Yes,
Michael said you might be surprised what loyal executive is a Dodgers fan.
I think I know who.
Who?
I think I this is not,
say it.
That is not my place to speak, because if they want to come back into the public sphere, if they want to come back into the public sphere, I don't want to go ahead and help them.
¿Quién?
Andrew? Historically,
AV is a Dodgers fan?
I operate on facts and evidence.
Ricardo?
Ricardo is
Oh, I can see Ricardo.
en
being
su
a Dodger
país no
fan.
había béisbol. There wasn't baseball over. I mean,
How would you say baseball? That accent, brasileiro. Baseball.
but that's okay. I mean, LD is from the Redlands. No, 100% no. I mean, I think that's public knowledge that Landon is a Dodger fan. Through
Claims to be a Padres fan now.
yeah, I mean, so do you.
No, I have not claimed that. Anyways,
In a while, you were about to say in a while because you
No,
haven't. It's
hey,
okay. It's okay.
We kind of want to talk to you about the Manchester United experience because I mean, it sounds like you had a lot more fun at Fullerton. You got pizza.
What, you guys, the Manchester United experience wasn't great? I would have assumed it was fun.
We got chips and salsa, some
Okay.
cookies. No meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, the fan fest was a bit of a letdown. Like we walked around a lot a bit, and it wasn't as fun. The hype wasn't it, to be honest.
The activations weren't being active. It was. I've seen regular season midweek San Diego Wave games generate much more buzz and energy than this Manchester United Real Betis game. And I really think this is because of what happened last year. Wrexham coming in, the B team for Manchester United came through.
True.
You had the biggest name in Johnny Evans. Wow. Wow, Johnny Evans. What a player.
I think Wrexham players were genuinely more known.
Yeah. And what happened? The goalkeeper for Manchester United, Bishop, just knocks out the captain, the face of the franchise. To answer that question, the reality TV, I don't even watch Wrexham because that's a reality TV show. Like I know the game.
Sure.
I'll watch the game if I want to know about the team. But yeah, that kind of put a bitter taste in people's mouths. And then Man U's coming back and the team was going to come out. And it wasn't a secret if you're a Manchester United fan that was going to happen. I did hear that there were tickets provided by an SDFC liaison to the community. So fantastic work there.
Cool.
Shout out. Really cool. There were people who did not receive a good handful. And that was getting reported that did not receive the tickets.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you have a certain amount of tickets you can give out. Not everyone that applies for one.
There were a lot of empty seats.
There
were a lot of
What
empty
was
seats.
the announced crowd, and what do you guys think the actual crowd was?
It was announced 26, 200 and change, something like that, but around 26. And I think the actual crowd was probably more in the lower 20s.
19 even.
19
like
maybe.
I think that at the end there, like I could argue for a lower bowl sellout if you kind of put that together.
I think it was closer to 20 for sure. It was interesting because I mean, just watching the game unfold, right? And just I told Tony, he's like, this is the highest level of soccer, like skill wise, we've ever seen.
Yeah,
like live,
credentialed.
Like this is Manchester United Premier League team against Real Betis, a La Liga team. Like the passes that were being passed around, like Casemiro first touch, passes to Rashford's speed, everything was just. I mean, we're so used to seeing San Diego Wave and I mean other teams play here at Snapdragon that nowhere near the level of these European teams, right? So it was pretty insane to witness, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, and I told you this, and I told Craig Elston. I was on Annie and Elston a couple days ago, and some of the most beautiful passes I've ever witnessed in person happened in that match, and the level was there. It was clearly a different outcome with the energy and just everything that was provided. Here, this was going to be marked in offsides, but
this
the
might
speed,
get copyrighted because ESPN. But
the game speed is something that's absolutely just insane, and it was a fun time to be out there. The game really kind of delivered. The game speed was fantastic. Real Betis stayed in it. Towards the end, game ended up being 3-2. You watched Marcus Rashford score.
Saw Marcus Rashford get injured.
Anthony
got subbed done and then played like 20 minutes, then got subbed off.
Yeah,
he also got injured.
This isn't Wayne Rooney's Man U. Like that team would sell out. Guess what? If Chelsea was here, they would sell out Snapdragon like that. 20K is just a lower bowl, isn't it? Yeah, about.
Well, I mean, that's the highest attendance ever. Wayne Rooney's Man U against Cristiano Ronaldo's Real Madrid. in Michigan, I believe it was 109,000,
Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah.
100
Yeah,
and
it was-
something thousand people.
Absolutely insane. Which actually, and I think this is a good transition point because you haven't seen this, Abe. You saw me kind of put it together. If you want, and we're going to go ahead and just get into our final segment here, which is goals gap. We do have a goal tiered towards the end, but we want to give. I will go ahead and award the great of the week to Manchester United. Manchester United.
Woo.
You know what? Getting involved in the community. I will contact Sir Alex Ferguson myself to see how he feels about this. But overall, they did a great job in partnering with local teams and partnering with different organizations here locally. I know they brought the seemingly impossible. It's fun whenever it happens, but whenever SDFC and San Diego Wave like put their collective, whatever together and under one banner, it's usually a net positive. So they did a cleanup down with a couple of community partners and, cleaned up some areas and did some good stuff there. But they also went over to Escondido, to the North Park, to Washington Park, where the new Street Soccer USA courts are that are getting some very, very, very good use on them. So I'm going to go ahead and throw into a couple of little snippets from that. Up there, some of the kiddos were participating in a high school tournament put on in collaboration with Manchester United. A Manchester United legend made an appearance. So we're going to go ahead and see what West Brown decides their five-a-side is going to go ahead and be if they were in a tournament of that liking. So without further ado, because I left.
Yeah, it's not on there.
It's not on there anymore, but I'll put it up there. Did you any FOMO from you, Abe, at all?
No, genuinely, like I said last week, the friendlies don't really do it for me. Hearing you guys talk about the passes and stuff like that does give me a little bit of FOMO, but when just in the moment, I was locked in on Olympics. I think a lot of people that I know have been locked in on Olympics in a way I wouldn't traditionally think.
That they have some good stuff in the Olympics. Not gonna lie, like it's some sports have impressed me. Like, and it always happens with Olympics, or there's one that I'm just like, huh, that's real. That's a genuinely. If Michael Phelps, I was all about swimming. Like that China 2008 Beijing Olympics. I can argue in any barbershop for Michael Phelps and why he's the greatest Olympian of all time.
I was watching triathlon today with my abuela and abuelo, and they were both yelling at the TV about this American catching up. It was hilarious because there's no other sport that make people react that way.
Yeah, no,
it's Olympics, so people all of a sudden become nationalistic. Let's go.
I love it when there's countries that never won anything that win something for the first time. That's just the best. There was also a Man United meet and greet, as Esteban saying that we got soccer with legendary player Andrew Cole. We actually had an interview with Andy Cole that never made the light. Like it was just buried and it's somewhere out there. But with that said, here is what happened over at Street Soccer USA in Washington Park up north.
For inviting us down today. Absolutely brilliant to see everybody playing. I think there was some pretty tasty challenges happening on the far pitch. But what you guys do is really inspirational. We have some programs back home in Greater Manchester called Street Reds, where we try to give young kids a good start and opportunity in life through football or soccer, and it's amazing to see the work that you do across America. We were lucky enough to be with your organisation in the Bronx last year, and obviously LA and San Diego this year. We would like to continue our relationship with both organisations, and to do that we would like to make a donation to both the LA and the San Diego teams of $5,000 each.
My name's Reed Fox. I'm the director for Street Soccer USA San Diego. So we've partnered with Manchester United to run a free tournament for high school age kids. And at Street Soccer USA, we're a nonprofit that uses soccer to strengthen communities and help kids of all ages reach their full potential. Yeah, so Street Soccer USA is in 14 cities. We're brand new in San Diego. So we're using this tournament as a launch point to run programs for these kids. So these are from 6 different partner organizations. We have kids from the Monarch School here, which is designed specifically for homeless children. We have a group from Crawford High School, which is made up of all refugee children. And so we want to partner with these groups and run free programs and tournaments for them all year round. I've ran our programs in New York, in Sacramento, in Philadelphia. I've seen all of our programs across the country. There's no greater city in the country for street soccer than San Diego. Every place I've visited, there's 80 kids trying to play on half a turf field. There's 50 guys trying to play on a futsal court. And so there's no better place for us to try to open up these community spaces and run free programs.
And speaking to San Diegans or people who want to help out, how can they support Street Soccer USA?
Follow us on Instagram, Street Soccer SD. Email me, read@streetsoccerusa.org. We need volunteers, we need coaches, we need board members, we need partners, we need funders. Anybody who wants to get involved in any capacity, please reach out.
All right, we're here with Wes Brown, Manchester United legend player. How are you enjoying your time here in Southern California and San Diego?
It's absolutely brilliant. It's a bit too hot, but it's great to be here, especially here today, watching the football, watching these, young lads really putting performance. The adrenaline's going. They all want to do well, and most of all, it's brilliant for the community. What they've set up today. Different teams from all over coming to play in this tournament. The charity has been excellent.
So you mentioned the charity Street Soccer USA. Street soccer, a very important component of the game of football. What can you say about the importance of that aspect in the professional setting?
Well, listen, I think everybody grows up differently. Some have more hardships than others, but I do think football brings everything together. Whether it's getting away for a bit, talking to people, and most of all enjoying, some good football with your friends and meeting other people as well. And that's, I think, as a young player, meeting other people is very difficult and talking, but I think these sort of things just expresses all that.
So when you're playing at the highest levels and then coming over and playing with some mates, what's the one thing that you just completely love about the sport of football that just sometimes, even a ball comes to you, that gets you so excited? Like, what about that is what makes this the best sport?
Ever since a young age, and you probably don't realise it for a bit, but like I said, I've met so many new friends along the way that are still my friends now. I mean, if you're talking about that's life, so you have ups and downs in sport, especially football, like I have, but you overcome them, and it makes you a better person for it, and you have better experience for it, and like I said, in general, sport, football is a game anybody can play. So, like I said, these guys are showing what they can do today. This is the final, and I can see it's very competitive actually, and they just want to do their best, but ultimately they've all enjoyed themselves.
And then there's also the academy aspect. You came up through Manchester United's academy. Here locally, Top Flight Soccer, MLS San Diego FC has the Right to Dream Academy, something new to this side of the world. What can you say about the academy layout of the development of a player?
It was brilliant for me. I mean, listen, when you start to become a young man and growing up, you can get yourself into all sorts of situations. And I think football, in that sense, by listening to coaches, people who organise it, it helps massively. I think you get a lot of discipline from it. You can sort of learn what you want to become and what you want to do, and it might not be football, but I mean, just the standard that they set, it makes you be out so you can become anything. The respect levels and growing up as a young man or woman are very big, and when people start to understand that better, I think it helps. When I was a young kid, I was very shy. I loved playing football, but I wouldn't necessarily go and speak to people and get involved, and I think this definitely brings it out of the young players, especially the shy ones.
All right, one last question. If you were in this tournament with the five-a-side with some of your old Man U teammates, who's on your team?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go for a fly goalkeeper. The best ball goalkeeper, I'm going to have to go Fabian Barthez for the goalkeeper. I'll do a go ball players. I go one defender. I go Rio Ferdinand because he would play. That's two. I would go Paul Scholes. He's dictating play. I will go Ronaldo. He's just attacking and scoring. That's 4-5. I'll go Wayne Rooney. Can do everything.
And Sir Alex managing all of it. I appreciate your time, Wes.
Pleasure, thank you.
Perfect.
Perfecto. I muere. Manchester
cabrón,
United
Tony. Estás bien
legend.
cabrón,
Where are you?
güey.
Where are you, Abe? Get your gas in there.
Just think of that, Abe. That's a
two-time
two-time
Street
champion.
soccer USA is cool. Having community events like this is cool. That was all very cool. Nice stuff.
I know.
And that's why Man U wins San Diego Football's Great of the Week.
Absolutely. So with that, it's going to go ahead and take us really quick detour to the goal. I know.
Wait,
Papa-
wait, before. Just as much as that.
Oh no, that's the gaff.
That is the gaff.
So let me
let's
go to the goal first.
Let's go to the goal. Okay, perfect.
Let's go to the goal first, right? All right. So Papa Ferree actually, this is the link that you sent, boy. That's not the link.
That is not the link.
So
that is the goal right there. I think.
Ta madre.
Oh, you exited out.
I know I did, and I opened it because I know the shortcuts to reopen stuff. All right, so this came down the pipeline. Papa Ferree actually said, "Hey, like this is a good goal that the U.S. young men's national team took them to the final. Good goal." But then this came across.
Yeah, this is a Puskas
the desk
winner, man.
So this is an amazing.
This happened yesterday, I think.
Amazing goal.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
No, the thing is, that's a last minute winner. The second half, 44th minute.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, like,
Nah, like, you're insane,
yeah,
bro.
for even like who thinks of that?
Fucking nut job. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Ugh.
He was like,
Dude, oh my gosh. The crazy part is he had so much space in front of him too.
yeah, he really did. Like, I think of that, like, there were so many other options. He didn't need to do that, but it just made sense to him the way he was following his body composure to just flip into a Shaolin soccer goal.
Jeez.
That's
fucking crazy. Yeah, sorry, Michael. I saw the goal you sent, Tony.
Shiva vetoed
I
it.
had to veto it because after seeing this goal, I had to.
Yeah,
put
he
this
agrees.
one.
Like, he put the little emoji faces. All right, so that does unfortunately bring us to the gaff of the week, Abe. And you know, you get first. I like getting your reaction to this.
No,
actually.
let me. So just as Manchester United won the Great of the Week, that's just Manchester United as a club in general.
Yeah, as an association.
Manchester United players win our San Diego Football's gaff of the week.
Do you want to see why?
Why?
Sure.
Did they get the gaff of the week?
Johnny, one question, Johnny. Anthony, one question, Anthony. Jaden, one question, Jaden. Aaron, one question, Aaron. One question. Marcus, one question, please. Amad, one question, real quick. Amad, one question. En español. Una, Casemiro. Mason, one quick question. Mason, one quick question. Victor, one question. Victor.
Not even Victor.
En español.
We thought he would stop.
You know the pain of the save. The mix zones are a fun bag of wild cards.
Mix zone can either be like the coolest thing where you can have a normal conversation with a player. It's not like the weird like press conference thing where you're sitting here, they're sitting on a stage. It's a little awkward and weird when you think about it. Or it can be like this, where they're just running past you, kind of laughing. They know that you want to talk, but they're like, I don't want to talk.
Here's the thing, hey. They said, we're like, which players are stopping? They said, whoever wants to stop. We had the British media to our left, and they got like maybe two, like
barely. Like I don't, yeah.
And like nobody's from the club, like academy, like literally nobody's that got subbed down. And this, I think one of them was maybe Hannibal, who's
played last year,
but yeah,
has experience in San Diego.
But none of the big name players stopped to talk to media, and I'm sorry, but Man U players, you guys want San Diego Football's Gaff of the week.
Who's your favorite? Like so we start here. Johnny Evans
I don't
is
care, Johnny Evans.
no,
whatever.
but Johnny Evans has the experience of playing in San Diego because we were like, okay, well, who are we going to talk to? Like, what are we gonna ask?
It's
Last year we
second
talked to
time
Eric
coming
Ten
to San
Hag,
Diego.
and we had a good conversation with him, good couple questions, and that was all fine and dandy. But like, Johnny, you played last year. How was it like coming back to San Diego? I guess, but you didn't
it's
stay
brilliant,
here.
Brilliant lad.
Brilliant lad. It's too hot, like Wes Brown said.
Winked at
Anthony
us.
winked.
Like,
Gave us a
Did he
wink.
wink? I didn't
yes,
see.
he winked.
Yeah,
Play
yeah,
it, play
you
it.
see, like he's
Oh,
coming.
Right there.
He's coming into it right there. It wasn't even a full wink. Like
Yeah, it was like a little.
it's just
like
like
a little,
a little
smirk and a wink,
cheeky. Like
yeah,
like
I'm not
I
talking
know,
to you, dipshit.
I know. I looked directly down the barrel of our eyes and camera, and said,
That's why you got sopped off early. Jadon Sancho.
Nothing.
Just played in the
nothing.
Champions League final.
Nope. He's like, nope.
Nope.
I don't need to be talking
He's
to
like,
you.
I don't even
I don't
wanna-
need to be talking to
he's
you.
like, I don't even want to play here.
Jaden. Aaron, one question.
And we're seeing these players coming down. We're like, Aaron has to stop. Wan-Bissaka, like, and we're like,
In
look
his
at
mind,
Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka's like, I'm gonna get traded to Bayern Munich anyway.
And it's not like they're stopping for anybody else. Like that's what
No,
made me feel
yeah.
better. But it's just like nobody got anybody.
Marquez, one question.
You, yeah.
I did not
Is that your
expect-
finger? Is that you?
No,
Is that me?
That's you.
I give him the hey brother.
One question, please.
I love
I'm
the
like-
fake looking at the phone too. Just like, oh, I'm looking at
We're
my
like,
phone,
maybe
texting.
Ahmad, he scored twice.
So,
a goal and assist. Like,
So at this point, I start thinking of like fake questions to ask. And my one for Marcus Rashford is Marcus, you fed all those kids. What did it feel like? Your charity does great work. How was it feel?
that would have been funny.
Ahmad, one question, real quick. Ahmad, one question.
It looked like he was about
Amad,
to
you
sign.
spoke to Morvilla yesterday. How was that?
En español.
This is the one because
This
there
one
was a
hurt
lot
a
of
little bit.
press. There was a lot of press in Spanish, and they placed us there. And we're like, oh, there's only one
Player.
sponsor. No background. There's only
Yeah,
one background.
yeah.
That's it. That was it. They have to stop. Nope. And we're like, okay,
Then they moved the
Casemiro.
backdrop, Abe.
Casemiro has to.
Yeah,
'Cause we're
like,
not
let's
even
do
like-
it in Spanish.
And I was feeling frisky too. I'm like, if I have to, Casemiro, uma pregunta. Like if I had to, but like if it didn't get, it got his attention in Spanish. Clearly it worked.
He did smile. Look at the smile. He's like, hey.
Like, you tried. Like, you tried.
Mason, one quick question. Mason, one quick.
Mason,
You got the
Mount-
nod. You got the
yeah,
nod
yeah,
there.
I mean, yeah, because he
was just done autographing something.
yeah, which media autographs in that discussion.
Media photos, Abe, with assistant coaches.
I saw some media photos from
Yeah,
media people
you know
that I
how
was
pissed I
expecting.
am.
You
I'm a
could have gotten that.
Fucking Man U fan. These people are not. God damn it.
Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they were Madrid fans. Mason Mount, what did it feel like to portray Chelsea?
Question, Mason, one quick question.
Nope. He sensed it. He gave me the nod because he sensed the Chelsea.
Victor.
We were defeated.
Yeah.
We were defeated at this point. I'm like, Lindelof. And like
The
you can hear it
sad
in your,
voice.
you can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
Victor, one question. Victor.
Victor, one question.
Yeah.
But you get your credentials taken.
They're not.
I mean, look, man, I'm never gonna risk my credential.
we'll
at
never
like
do that.
100%. We're there for a job.
Here's where I felt really bad.
Even if our job is
Jaden, one question, Jaden.
This is where I felt bad. Like there were other outlets there that they need to write an article or something and submit it by a certain time, and they need a quote from a player or something, and they couldn't get like
they got a
felt
quote.
bad.
Shout out Johnny
got a
from
quote.
Everything San Diego.
Johnny Richardson?
Johnny Richardson was the only one of us. to
That's
get
my goat.
a
That's the
quote.
goat.
And the quote was from John, not from Johnny.
No,
from
we
an
don't know the player who it was.
unnamed player.
I gotta pull up his article right
It
now.
was did he put an article? And he told us he was going to put it on there.
What do you say? Okay, something.
Yeah, like how was your game? And he said okay, like
That was the
okay,
quote.
quote okay.
Johnny
was the
literally
only
went.
quote.
I got a quote.
One question, real quick. Ahmad, one question. En español. Una,
Yeah.
Casemiro.
Man, you players, you win San Diego Football's Gaff of the Week, and I'm not a fan anymore.
I'm just saying, Chelsea players
You
would have
crushed
stopped.
this boy's dream.
I should have just talked to the girl. Do you have? Did I send it to you? Send me the person that you actually interviewed at the end.
Oh,
Just send it to me. Like, just airdrop it. Do that, because we did get a quote. Because we were just tired at that point. It was a long day. I went over to Escondido's and spoke to Wes Brown, who thought it was an absolute inferno compared to wherever he hails from. Do they clone blondes or something? I don't want to comment on if or not people look the same of a different denomination as I do.
Wait, that was different people. I thought that was the same person walking them through.
That was different people. We did get a quote.
That's crazy.
Here towards the end. You got it? I got it.
Tony Sanchez, one question. Tony, one question, Tony. What do you think about the Americans fans here in the U.S.?
I think they're absolutely fantastic, stunning, one of the biggest crowds that I've ever seen in my life, and I really think that it's something that can unite the world, the country, and I'm really looking forward to soccer and football becoming one.
There you go. That's the
The
quote.
stuff that other people couldn't notice is like, how many times did that lady walk by? Do they clone blondes or something?
Yeah, I should have just talked to her. I mean, why not? We had a blast. Again, it's the adventure of a lifetime. Like, yes.
From a certain sense, you can get like, who are these people gonna talk to some San Diego journalists about? Like, they're probably in their head like, I'm getting out of here. I don't even want to be on this summer tour. This is part of the reason why I have issues with these friendlies and summer things. The players want to be home. They'd rather be practicing at home probably. And they're here. They're just like, okay, let's walk through. Let's wink at these two guys and the mic, whatever. They're just sitting there like, oh, whatever.
We wouldn't know.
Casemiro hears people speaking Spanish. They're like, oh.
We wouldn't know that,
Is
They
that the
didn't
one?
stop to talk to us.
Is that the one that we were
Like,
All right, let's take. Like, this is
if they wanted to, they could have stopped.
all right. Take inventory on not Abby
Come on.
Dalkemper.
Okay.
All right.
Come on.
Hey.
Not Abby Dalkemper. Hey, brother. All right. Where is it? I mean, are we just seeing things? Did I just put that
Once.
same clip over and over?
2. That's twice.
Is that
And
the
that's
same person or is that a different person?
Same shirt. Same hair.
I thought every one of the Manchester United players are the same.
I think it's the same one. 3 times.
I think that's the same person because that's usually a thing where they walk with the press officer, the press manager, or whatever.
It's telling when this is the most content based on this fucking mix-up that we get. Is it the same person? Are there clones?
What are they
Have
doing
we-
in Manchester?
Have we as a humanity crossed the impossible? As Manchester United figured it out. Gaff.
That's
of
that's awesome. I think that's better content than you would have gotten from like
Interview.
yeah. What's Casemiro say? Oh, me gustó el juego. Está muy bonita el estadio.
Whoa,
like,
that
that's all
voice.
you're gonna say.
Whoa, hey, that voice was a little edgy.
That's how I speak deeper in Spanish for some reason. I think just from like watching TV, that's how I learned a lot of Spanish. I just try to have like deep novela voice sometimes, which is probably not good. I should just speak normally.
Casemiro, ¿por qué has venido aquí a San Diego a jugar contra Manchester United? And then he's like, a mí me vale el juego en Estados Unidos.
Very good, Marcelo.
Oh, Marcelo? Oh,
Impression.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Dope. Seems to be a glitch in the Matrix. Absolutely. Speaking of a glitch in the Matrix, look at that. This is a glitch right there.
Look at this guy. The only guy that stopped to talk to me.
Chameleon eyes looking 2 different directions at once. Season's greetings to everybody. But
Oh my God, why don't I make more jokes about that?
because it's
¿Me estás
weird.
viendo, no, güey?
I they're lined up, but if
Güey, estoy acá, güey.
they line up. They line up. I can do the thing where
No, you're looking at me and Abe at the same time.
like I can switch them.
Está todo raro, güey. Un espécimen.
All right. Well, audio listeners have had
You
a
guys
blast
need to
here.
put that out on socials because that is an amazing video.
100%. Chiba is definitely on it. He's the creator. He's the brainchild and the brain father of it, which is a little weird. But with that, Abe, it's going to come to a conclusion for us tonight. San Diego is the name of the game. That is a website. Thank you for everybody who's joined us in the chat. Had a great time. Thank you. Special thanks to Papa Ferree, Michael Ferree, making a stop and appearance. We're definitely going to go ahead and go do that again. That was absolutely fun, spectacular. Find everything at San Diego.Futbol, Abe's writings. Find interesting articles on there. Some real journalism happening on San Diego.Futbol through Abe Cepeda. You're the guy. Thank you for everybody for San Diego.Futbol. 2 balls to the mic. Find it everywhere. Real quick question. How do we get your new San Diego.Futbol stickers? These are for you, Jeremy. These right here are for you. We're coming down to it. We also need to find a new vendor that doesn't support hatred. Different conversation for another day. Shout out
Later. Have a good night
to everybody. You guys are the best. Bye.